Come to Helmuth Ford, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Hi, this is Stacy from Shuttler Insurance Services. Come see me on the east side of the square in Sigourney for all your insurance needs.
It's the holiday season at Stam Garden Center and Nursery. Come visit Stam's to take a closer look at all that they have to offer. Stam Garden Center and Nursery is open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., closed on Sundays. Located at 2421 Highway 92, Oskaloosa. Call 641-672-1437. Experience the color this Christmas at Stam Garden Center and Nursery.
The 2025 Iowa Nouveau is the first wine of the season and is an excellent wine for Thanksgiving dinner. It's a fresh and fruity dry red wine that's big enough for the turkey, dressing, and cranberry salad while not overpowering the mashed potatoes. The grapes for this wine were all grown in our vineyards and were still hanging on the vines on Labor Day. It goes on sale at the winery and at your favorite retailer on Thursday, November 20th.
Shop at Barnwired on the south side of the square in Sigourney this Friday and Saturday for incredible deals. Black Friday deals on merchandise start when you spend $50 and get 5% off all the way up to when you spend $250 and get 25% off. On Small Business Saturday, get great deals on gift cards, Corksicle, Hygro, and buy one get one 50% off on all ornaments, socks, and dish towels of equal or lesser value. Barnwired at 119 East Marion in Sigourney.
Schedule your next dental appointment with Dr. Dan Schuster at Oski Dental, 641-673-4845. They're accepting new patients. Oski Dental will file all of your insurance forms for you. They're a Delta dental provider. And Oski Dental is located at 902 South 17th Street in Oskaloosa. That's Oski Dental, 641-673-4845. We make smiles happen at Oski Dental.
Who has time to stop for a sit-down meal? You need something fast, fresh, and filling. Something that tastes homemade. That's where Casey's comes in. We're not just a convenience store. We're your go-to spot for food that actually satisfies. Stop by Casey's in Sigourney today. Make your day easier with great food from Casey's. Order ahead on the Casey's app for quick pickup. From a full tank of gas to a full meal, Casey's in Sigourney is your one-stop shop.
Oh yeah. We haven't had a rockin' intro to the song or to the show here lately, so that's
we got kind of quiet and lazy in our old age.
Yes.
There was a lack of dancing and air guitar playing there for quite some time, but
I know there are some drumsticks here in the studio somewhere. You need to bust those out.
There's a broken drum head from my favorite band from back in the early 90s, Two-Faced. Two-Faced. Who was in that band? I was like,
man, there's some guy named Steve and some guy named Neil, Michael. It's a good band.
Good band. Was it a cover band or did you guys play original stuff?
Oh, it was cover. Yeah.
Cover band, Metallica and stuff like that.
A lot of Metallica.
Yeah, bang. Well, you've got the voice to cover Metallica, and Pearl Jam. You do.
I'm kind of looking Pearl Jamish today with my flannel on.
Oh yeah, going full Seattle. Wasn't that the thing? Like all the grunge bands were from out in Seattle, and everybody wore flannels because it was cold and rainy all the time.
I'd have to take it off and tie it around my waist. That's how the grunge people did it.
Yeah. Well, my understanding is that didn't start off because they were trying to be cool. They were just all like really poor guys who
and cold.
Poor and cold, and so they wore flannel shirts like I did in 6th grade. I know I've told that story before, but I went shopping before school, and flannel shirts were $1 a piece, so I got 5, one for each day of the week.
Heck yeah.
Come on, there's nothing like it. I got made fun of by the girls in my class, but oh well, I ended up happily married to somebody who wasn't in that class. So nana boo boo.
Take that.
Take that. I'm the one that got away. You never know what you're going to get on Real Talk with Steve and Aaron.
Yes.
Today, it's Nana and a Boo Boo. And with that, we'll launch into just kind of getting ourselves up to speed. We've been talking about spiritual warfare recently. And just kind of like there's stuff going on in the heavenly realms around us. And that attacks our relationships. That plays out here on earth. Like the stuff that happens in spiritual realms is the enemy's attack is against our hearts, trying to peel us away from God, getting a cry bar in our relationships and busting us up. So speaking of spiritual warfare, and I don't know what I'm doing with my head motion today.
It's kind of like a break dance.
Just break dancing with only.
My neck just popped when I was.
I've got to stop. So we've got this funny story, strange story. And Steve, I think you know me well enough to know I kind of like the weird Bible stories.
Oh, I could hit a sound effect for you.
Yeah, do it.
That is weird.
That is weird. It's a good intro for this segment.
Okay, play it again one more time.
That is weird.
Okay,
weird.
Here we go. So funny, weird little story from the book of 1 Samuel, my favorite. Chapter 16, kind of right in the heart of my favorite stretch. The background here is that the prophet Samuel chose King Saul. Well, he wasn't king when he was chosen, but he chose this dude named Saul to be king of Israel. And Saul, but he was like a decent king. He was tall and good looking, which is always important for a figure of state, right? Like,
Sure.
Some big imposing guy, head and shoulders taller than anyone else. So in a time when everybody was 5'4" or 5'6", I don't know, this dude was like Abraham Lincoln, maybe 6'2", 6'4". And he did a couple of good things as king, but he started to go downhill, and he eventually ends up disobeying God a couple of times. And Samuel goes to him and says, "Hey, buddy, that was one too many times, and so the kingdom is going to be taken away from you." Well, that's sort of discouraging. Most of us like to have our cake and eat it too, but sometimes that doesn't work. So you can be rebellious and remain king, or lose your kingship, or you can be obedient and remain king. And Saul went with the old disobedience. Okay, so are you ready with the that's weird button? Ready?
Now?
No. Okay. I'll give you a signal.
You give me the cue.
I'll give you the cue. It goes like this. Now the Spirit of the Lord had departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord tormented him.
That is weird.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? An evil spirit from the Lord. One thing that I wonder, I didn't bother to look it up. I have this Bible with lots of Greek, Hebrew keywords, so I can go look up the meaning of some of these words. It might be more properly read as an unclean spirit, but this is the translation that I got. Evil, unclean, whatever. So an unclean spirit from the Lord. What? Push that button again.
Oh, there we go.
That is weird.
Okay, because usually we think of God sending like holy angels to help people. So
he must have this bad one in his back pocket.
Well, there's another story that's kind of like this that we find later on in 1 Kings chapter 22, where again, like there's this king named Ahab, and God decides he's going to take the throne away from Ahab, and Ahab is doomed to die. We're all going to die, right? But this guy was doomed to die. So this prophet comes and prophesies bad things about Ahab, because that's what that prophet did. And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, "Didn't I tell you that he never prophesies anything good about me, but only bad?" Which is maybe a little hint there for all of us. Like when the prophet only says bad things about us, maybe I don't know. Maybe we should shape up a little bit. Like if you know that the prophet is going to prophesy bad things, I wonder why. But anyway, so Micaiah continued, therefore, hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne with all the host of heaven standing around him on his right and on his left. So there's this picture here, which is interesting, the same picture that we get in Job, where God is kind of like sitting on his throne, like a king with the court, and there's all these spirit beings hanging around with him, apparently. And in that story, Satan comes along, and God's kind of like, hey, Satan, what's up, man? And it's different in the way we usually conceptualize Satan, like sitting down in hell with flames and a pitchfork, and for some reason he's red, and he's got a pointy tail and like that. Horns. Yeah, horns. I'm not sure where that idea came from. I think Renaissance painters or something, because they were trying to make him look scary, and what's scarier than a red dude with horns and a funny tail? So anyway, here's this picture of the Lord has spirit beings that spend time with him. And so the Lord said, who will entice Ahab into attacking Ramoth Gilead and going to his death there? And one suggested this and another that. And finally, a spirit came forward, stood before the Lord and said, I will entice him. By what means? The Lord asked. I will go out and being a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets, he said. You will succeed in enticing him, said the Lord. Go and do it. That's a good place for it. That's weird.
Is that why you pointed?
That's right.
That is weird.
Folks, this is live radio. This is not some rehearsed, canned thing where we're sitting in a green room.
This is not. It's not a floating head that you're seeing over there. It's
this
it's
is
attached.
This is real talk.
Which is also weird.
What, this? I snorted a little bit. That's okay. All right. So crazy thing that we're discovering here is that God can and sometimes does have a purpose for sending a spirit to do something that God would not do. Interesting thought. I don't even know where to go with that entirely. Other than as this, well, no, here's the thing. I got this idea as I was studying this recently, Steve. So as the story goes, the spirit comes and it starts tormenting Saul. And I started to think, why would God do this? Mm-hmm. God is not presented in the Bible as being mean or arbitrary. He's tremendously merciful and kind. Very rarely gives people what they deserve. He almost always gives people far better than what they deserve. So I started to think about this. So God has decided that Saul can't be king anymore, right? He's going to have to stop being king. And there's only two ways for a king to stop being a king. And one is to die. And the other is to abdicate. So then what happens next in this story, this starts to get fascinating. So one of the guys in Saul's court says, hey, why don't you search for someone who can play the harp? He will play when the evil spirit from God comes upon you, and you will feel better. So Saul said to his attendants, find someone who plays well and bring him to me. So who do they bring? They bring David, who Saul didn't know this, but if you go back a couple of chapters, you find out that God anointed David to be the next king. Now maybe you start to see where we're going with this. See, Saul can either die or be killed, or he can abdicate. And so when the Spirit of God torments him, he starts bringing David in to play the harp for him. And then we find out that every time, whenever the Spirit from God came upon Saul, David would take his harp and play, and then relief would come, and Saul would feel better, and the evil spirit would leave him. maybe, just maybe, if Saul had been paying attention, he would have figured out that maybe David is the guy. Maybe David is the guy who ought to be king. He's got power over evil spirits. He's strong. He's good looking. He's got all of these various qualifications. He's a man after God's own heart. Try this on for size. What if Saul had had the humility to say, you know what? God has said that I'm not going to be king anymore. So instead of holding on, I'm going to let go. And here's the perfect guy to take over.
Mm-hmm.
If Saul had been able to do that, then the spirit that was tormenting would have been the thing that introduced him to the man who was supposed to be king. Saul could have abdicated and gone to the retirement home for kings.
The King Retirement Home. I can see it now.
And then he wouldn't have died in battle, and his sons wouldn't have died in battle, and all kinds of terrible things would have been avoided. So it looks pretty weird when God sends an evil spirit to torment somebody. But what if there was a purpose in it that was actually, what if that was the last thing that Saul might have listened to? Was like, gee, I wish I could stop being tormented. And then he gets the opportunity when this guy plays some worship music for him. But I think, final little point, I'm not sure about all of that stuff. Like, we're kind of thinking out loud a little bit. This is a pretty new idea. We'll probably get a bunch of comments in the comment section from Bible scholars who say that I'm a heretic. Because we get a lot of that, don't we? Like lots of angry comments.
Lots of complaints.
Lots of complaints. This would be kind of a fun topic if people would want to weigh in and let us know what they think about this story. But one thing that I know for sure is that in the realm of spiritual warfare, you can't have somebody else worship for you. I had a friend point this out to me about this story many years ago, like 30 years ago. That's a long time. Now I feel old. 30 years ago, pointed out to me, if somebody else does your worshiping, the spirit will go away for a while, but then as soon as that person is not worshiping anymore, the spirit will come back. Each one of us has to learn how to worship God and give him the honor and glory that he deserves, and we have to do that for ourselves. You can't ride on somebody else's worship coattails. So get on out there and get your praise on, people.
Amen.
That's like, if you don't feel like you're a good singer, yeah, you got access to a gazillion worship songs on your cell phone when you're driving down the road. That's what I did on my way to Sigourney this morning. Put on some Third Day. I hope we didn't violate some sort of copyright thing there.
Probably the artificial intelligence was like, wait a minute, that's Third Day. That sounds just like Third Day.
Yeah, that was a good Third Day impression right there. I tell you what. Although maybe the AI was confused and thought it was Pearl Jam.
Yeah, could be. Or Travis Tritt. Or a weird combination of those three.
Yeah, that's weird. So I think we fooled the AI. Before it gets any sillier, we'll kind of leave it there for today. If you don't know how to worship, might be a good idea to go hang out at church with some people who do and who can teach you. Oh, what a nice little segue. My name's Aaron, and I'm the pastor at New Life Church in Wellman, Iowa. Our building address is 257 8th Avenue. We're your friendly neighborhood downtown church, right nestled in right amongst the bars and restaurants and grocery stores there in downtown Wellman. You can park on 8th Avenue, or there's actually more parking on the other side of the building in the 9th Avenue City parking lot. We meet at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. It's always a good time. There's always friendly people there. Come get your worship on with us any Sunday morning.
All right, and we thank New Life Community Church in Wellman for being the sponsor of our program. Aaron, we'll do it again next week. Real talk here on Steve Shetler Media.